Next day, rains were pouring down and stopped till afternoon. I went for a walk on the moor. Well, Mortimer.
I knew there was a bench in this area of the moor. So I came and sat here.
By the way, Mortimer, I suppose there are few people living within this area but whom you don't know.
Hardly any, I think.
Can you, then, tell me the name of any woman whose initials are LL?
No, there are a few gypsies and laboring folk for whom I can't answer, but among the farmers or gentry there is no one whose initials are those. Wait a bit though, there is Laura Lyons. Her initials are LL, but she lives in Coombe Tracy.
Who is she?
She is Franklin's daughter.
What, old Franklin, the crank?
Exactly. She married an artist named Lyons, who came sketching on the moor. He proved to be a blackguard and deserted her. The fault, from what I hear, may not have been entirely on one side. Her father refused to have anything to do with her because she had married without his consent, and perhaps for one or two other reasons as well. So, between the old sinner and the young one, the girl has had a pretty bad time.
How does she live?
I fancy old Franklin allows her a pittance, but it cannot be more, for his own affairs are considerably involved. Whatever she may have deserved, one could not allow her to go hopelessly to the bad. Her story got about, and several of the people here did something to enable her to earn an honest living. Stapleton did for one, and Sir Charles for another. I gave a trifle myself. It was to set her up in a typewriting business.
Well, you can come to Baskerville Hall with me now. Barrymore, I want to talk to you 1 minute.
Yes, sir.
Has this precious relation of yours departed, or is he still lurking out yonder?
I don't know, sir. I hope to heaven that Selden has gone, for he has brought nothing but trouble here. I've not heard of him since I left out food for him last, and that was 3 days ago.
Did you see him then?
No, sir, but the food was gone when next I went that way.
Then he was certainly there.
So you would think, sir, unless it was the other man who took it.
You know that there is another man then?
Yes, sir, there is another man upon the moor.
Have you seen him?
No, sir. Selden told me of him, sir, a week ago or more. He's in hiding, too, but he's not a convict as far as I can make out. I don't like it, Dr. Watson, I tell you straight, sir, that I don't like it. There's foul play somewhere, and there's black villainy brewing, to that I'll swear. Very glad I should be, sir, to see Sir Henry on his way back to London again. Look at Sir Charles's death. That was bad enough, for all that the coroner said. Look at the noises on the moor at night. There's not a man would cross it after sundown if he was paid for it. Look at this stranger hiding out yonder, and watching and waiting. What's he waiting for? What does it mean? It means no good to anyone of the name of Baskerville, and very glad I shall be to be quit of it all on the day that Sir Henry's new servants are ready to take over the hall.
But about this stranger, can you tell me anything about him? What did Selden say? Did he find out where he hid, or what he was doing?
He saw him once or twice, but he is a deep one, and gives nothing away. At first he thought that he was the police, but soon he found that he had some lay of his own. A kind of gentleman he was, as far as he could see, but what he was doing he could not make out.
And where did he say that he lived?
Among the old houses on the hillside, the stone huts where the old folk used to live. Selden found out that he has got a lad who works for him and brings him all he needs. I dare say he goes to Coombe Tracy for what he wants.
Very good, Barrymore, I'm going out now. I need to meet Mrs. Lyons, and for that I should go to Coombe Tracy. Need to wait here till the train to Coombe Tracy arrives. Can I see Mrs. Lyons? I was told that she has a room here.
Sure. What do you want, sir?
I have the pleasure of knowing your father.
Have a seat. There is nothing in common between my father and me. I owe him nothing, and his friends are not mine. If it were not for the late Sir Charles Baskerville and some other kind hearts first might have starved for all that my father cared.
It was about the late Sir Charles Baskerville that first have come here to see you.
What can I tell you about him?
You knew him, did you not?
I have already said that I owe a great deal to his kindness. If I am able to support myself, it is largely due to the interest which he took in my unhappy situation.
Did you correspond with him?
What is the object of these questions?
The object is to avoid a public scandal. It is better that I should ask him here than that the matter should pass outside our control.
Okay, I did correspond with him.
Do you have the dates of these letters?
No.
But if you saw him so seldom and wrote so seldom, how did he know enough about your affairs to be able to help you, as you say that he has done?
There were several gentlemen who knew my sad history and united to help me. One was Mr. Stapleton, a neighbor and intimate friend of Sir Charles's. He was exceedingly kind, and it was through him that Sir Charles learned about my affairs.
You wrote to Sir Charles to meet you at night on the day when he died.
No.
Surely your memory deceives you. I could even quote a passage of your letter. It ran, "Please, please, as you are a gentleman, burn this letter, and be at the gate by 10 o'clock.
Yes, I did write the letter then, and I have no reason to be ashamed of it, either.
Very well, what did happen when you went to meet him?
I never went.
Mrs. Lyons.
I had some personal reasons.
Mrs. Lyons, I ask you straight, do you know anything else about Sir Charles' death?
I don't.
Well, goodbye. Mrs. Lyons is certainly telling lies.
Good day, Dr. Watson, come in. It is a great day for me, sir, one of the red-letter days of my life. I have brought off a double event. I mean to teach them in these parts that law is law, and that there is a man here who does not fear to invoke it. I have established a right-of-way through the center of Old Middleton's Park, slap across it, sir, within 100 yards of his own front door. What do you think of that? We'll teach these magnates that they cannot ride roughshod over the rights of the commoners, confound them. And I've closed the wood where the Fernworthy folk used to picnic. These infernal people seem to think that there are no rights of property, and that they can swarm where they like with their papers and their bottles. Both cases decided, Dr. Watson, and both in my favor. I haven't had such a day since I had Sir John Morland for trespass, because he shot in his own warren. Well, Dr. Watson, I want to show you something, but before that I tell you, I know where the convict, Selden, lives on the moor.
Where?
I can assure you, he lives in the old caves and broken down houses built by the old people. A boy provides him food. I watch him daily through my telescope. I'll show you. This is the time the boy appears. See there.
There really is a boy going down there. Well, Mr. Franklin, I'll be leaving now. Today, I'll find who that other man on the moor actually is. That's where I think the boy went. The cave, that is. The sun is setting and there is a chance for me to find the man on the moor. Franklin thinks it is Selden, but I know that it is someone else. That boy is gone now. So I can enter the cave. I waited for the boy to get out of sight and then entered the cave. It was pretty dark till that time. There is someone who is living here, and that'll swear. The fire is going on and there are some footprints too. Then I found a letter on a stone which said, Dr. Watson has gone to Coombe Tracy. I tried hard to think out who was spying on me and at last decided that whenever he or she would come into the cave, I'll prance on the person and finally get to know who this other man is. Finally I heard footsteps and edged behind the door. And I was finally astounded by a voice outside the cave.
It is a lovely evening, my dear Watson. I really think that you will be more comfortable outside than in.